I didn't stop loving you, I just stopped asking for something that wasn't there anymore. There wasn't one last conversation, no moment that drew a line, no words that said we changed or left our love behind. I simply started noticing the silence staying longer, the distance in your eyes growing a little stronger. I reached for you less often, not because I didn't care, but every time I reached, I found less of you there. So I folded up my questions one by one each night and carried them alone out of sight. Some endings don't arrive with a goodbye to remember, they settle in your heart little by little. I accepted it quietly, without a scene to make, without asking you why everything had changed. I accepted it quietly, like autumn leaves let go, without begging summer not to go. I accepted it quietly, even though it broke me inside, because love shouldn't have to ask someone to stay. I stopped checking your expression for something that wasn't there, stopped hoping every morning would somehow bring us back. I still smiled across the table, still wish you peaceful nights, still cared about your happiness without needing to be right. The hardest part wasn't leaving, it was learning to remain while letting go of dreams we couldn't save. Somewhere between acceptance and everything we knew, I found a quiet version of the truth. I realized not every story ends with anger, sometimes it ends with understanding. Maybe you noticed, maybe you didn't. The day I stopped trying to be enough, I wasn't giving up on love. I was letting go of chasing a heart that had already found another way of beating. And somewhere in that silence, I found a little peace, not because the pain was gone, but because I stopped fighting it. I accepted it quietly, and tears still found my face, but they no longer asked for things that I couldn't change. I accepted it quietly, with all the love I had. Some stories aren't meant to end with what we planned. I accepted it quietly, and though a part of me still aches, I finally stopped waiting for yesterday. I didn't stop loving you, I just stopped asking to be loved the same way again. The truth wasn't hidden. I kept my eyes on what I wanted instead of what was real. I noticed every quiet change, every time you looked away, every promise left unfinished, every word you didn't say. I felt the space between us growing day by day, but I kept calling it exhaustion, hoping it would fade away. I found excuses for your silence, reasons for your distant heart, anything to stop believing we were falling apart. Deep inside I knew it long before goodbye, but hope kept covering the truth I couldn't leave behind. Sometimes the hardest lie is the one we tell ourselves. I chose not to see what was right in front of me. I held on to tomorrow instead of reality. I chose not to see because I was afraid that loving you wouldn't be enough to make you stay. Now I understand the truth never changed, only my willingness to face it. You stopped reaching for my hand before I noticed why. Your smile became a stranger right before my eyes. The conversations grew shorter, the silence grew long, yet I kept believing nothing could be wrong. I thought if I loved harder, things would turn around, like broken hearts could heal without making a sound. I was trying to save what was already gone, holding on to echoes long after they were gone. I wasn't blind, I was hoping. I chose not to see the goodbye inside your eyes, the way forever slowly turned into goodbyes. I chose not to see every little clue, because accepting the ending meant losing you. Now every memory feels honest at last, because I stopped changing the story. If I could go back, I still would have loved you. I just wish I had loved myself enough to believe what I already knew. Now I don't blame my heart for holding on too long. Love isn't weak for wanting to belong, but I've learned that hope should never hide the truth. No matter how badly we want something to, some endings whisper before they finally speak, and the heart often understands long before we do. Today I carry the lesson instead of the pain. The truth may hurt, but denial hurts longer. I chose not to see until there was nothing left but memories wanted. You were right beside me, close enough to touch, but somehow further away than ever before. You answered every question. You smiled when I looked your way. You never raised your voice. You never walked away. But somewhere behind your eyes, the light began to fade, like you were slowly leaving without a single step away. I kept reaching for your heart through every little thing. A longer conversation, a forgotten wedding ring, a gentle touch at midnight, a quiet "how was your day?" But every road I followed just slipped away. The distance wasn't measured by miles or by time. It was built from little silences we left behind. I couldn't reach you, no matter how close we stood. I called your name with love, but it never reached where it should. I couldn't reach you, your heart had drifted somewhere else. I kept knocking softly on a door that closed itself. I couldn't reach you, and that's what hurt the most. You never really left, but I still lost you. We still shared the same morning, still slept beneath one sky, but every day between us felt a little more disguised. The words became familiar without meaning what they meant, like we were reading old lines with all the feelings spent. I wondered if you noticed or if you felt it too. Did you miss the girl beside you the way I missed you? Or had your heart already found somewhere else to be, while mine stayed waiting for what used to be? Love didn't disappear loudly, it slowly lost its voice, until silence became our only choice. I couldn't reach you, no matter how close we stood. I called your name with love, but it never reached where it should. I couldn't reach you, your heart had drifted somewhere else. I kept knocking softly on a door that closed itself. I couldn't reach you, and that's what hurt the most. You never really left, but I still lost you. Maybe you were trying to, in ways I couldn't see. Maybe we were both drowning quietly. Sometimes people don't stop loving, they just stop knowing how. And by the time they realize there's nothing left, somehow I wish I could have found the road back to your soul before the distance grew too deep to cross. I couldn't reach you, even with your hand in mine. The space between our hearts kept growing over time. I couldn't reach you, though I gave my everything. Love became an echo instead of something we could sing. I couldn't reach you, and now I understand. The saddest kind of goodbye is never leaving hands. You were right beside me, close enough to touch, But somewhere along the way, you became someone I couldn't reach anymore. Maybe you never gave me the wrong answers. Maybe I just created the ones I wanted. You left spaces in the story, so I wrote the parts myself. Turned your silence into meaning, turned your distance into help. I searched between your sentences for words you never said. Built a future out of feelings that only lived inside my head. You gave me little moments I held on to like proof. Every smile became a promise, every touch became the truth. I didn't see the empty spaces, I only saw what I believed. I filled in all the missing pieces with the love I wanted to receive. I wasn't seeing you clearly, I was seeing what I hoped you were. I filled in what was missing with dreams you never made. I painted over the silence so I wouldn't feel the pain. I filled in what was missing and called it something real. But a heart can create a story that the other heart doesn't feel. Now I know I wasn't holding on to us, I was holding on to what I imagined. You never said forever, but I heard it in your voice. You never promised always, but I treated it like a choice. I took your kindness as commitment, your presence as a sign. Thought if I waited long enough, your heart would meet mine. I ignored the hesitation, I ignored the space between, because losing my illusion was harder than losing the dream. And maybe that's the saddest part of loving someone too much. Sometimes we don't lose a person, we lose what we created from them. The truth wasn't missing, I was replacing it. I filled in what was missing with everything I wanted most. I turned a quiet goodbye into something I could hold. I filled in what was missing until I couldn't anymore. Then I realized I was standing alone beside a closed door. Now every memory feels different in my hands, because I finally see what was real. I don't blame myself for wanting something beautiful, but I have to let go of a story only I was writing. Now I look back with honesty, not anger, not regret. The moments that I cherished were still moments I won't forget. Even if they meant less to you, they meant something to me. And maybe that's enough for what they were meant to be. But next time I'll listen closer to what someone truly shows, not just the empty spaces where my imagination grows. Because love should not require me to create what isn't there. The right person won't leave me guessing if they care. I filled in what was missing until I finally understood. You weren't giving me less love, you were giving what you could. I filled in what was missing, and I release it now. No more building forever from a feeling that faded out. And after all this time, the truth feels lighter somehow. I wasn't wrong for loving you, I was just wrong about what we were. Your voice never changed, it was still soft, still familiar, but somehow I heard less in your words. You still asked if I was sleeping, still called me on your way home, still smiled across the kitchen like we had always known. But something underneath it was slowly disappearing. Not the words you gave to me, just the feeling I was hearing. The conversations lasted just as long as they once did, but every little sentence felt lighter than it lived. Like love had packed its suitcase without making a sound, leaving only echoes where our hearts were found. I kept listening closer, trying to hear what I knew, but every passing evening brought me less of you. I heard less in your words, even when you said my name. The sound was still familiar, but it didn't feel the same. I heard less in your words, like the meaning slowly slipped away. Love was still speaking, but it had nothing left to say. I heard less in your words until silence became true. You were still talking to me, but I couldn't hear you. I searched between your sentences for something left behind, a little piece of yesterday, a reason I could find. You still remember birthdays, still kissed me before bed, but every simple gesture felt carefully rehearsed instead. We weren't falling into pieces, we weren't breaking apart. We were simply watching distance move quietly through our hearts. It's strange how love can vanish without a single fight, just fading like the daylight into another night. The hardest kind of leaving doesn't close the door, it stays inside the room, but isn't there anymore. I heard less in your words, even when you said my name. The sound was still familiar, but it didn't feel the same. I heard less in your words, like the meaning slowly slipped away. Love was still speaking, but it had nothing left to say. I heard less in your words until silence became true. You were still talking to me, but I couldn't hear you. Maybe love doesn't disappear the moment people leave. Maybe it disappears when they stop being seen. reaching the deepest part of me. Your voice never changed. It was still soft, still familiar. But somewhere between the words, we disappeared. It wasn't hidden, it wasn't complicated. I just didn't want it to be true. I watched your heart grow quieter, one conversation at a time. I saw the space between us growing with every night. You stopped reaching out first, you stopped asking how I'd been, and somehow I kept believing we were only in between. Every answer sounded shorter, every silence lasted more. Still I stood there waiting, like before was still before. I knew something was changing long before goodbye arrived, but I kept choosing hope over what I felt inside. The truth kept knocking, I never opened the door. I ignored what was obvious because I couldn't bear the pain. I kept calling it a season, hoping things would change. I ignored what was obvious, though my heart already knew. Sometimes love ends quietly before it leaves the room. Now I see the ending was never hiding from me. I was hiding from the ending. You weren't pretending to stay, you were slowly letting go. And every little difference was something I should have known. The warmth inside your laughter didn't sound the same. The way you looked at me, quietly rearranged. I kept collecting memories instead of facing out, thinking if I loved enough would somehow work it out. But love can't make someone feel what they've already lost, and I learned that lesson at a heavy cost. Hope became louder than reality. Because I finally see what I refused to. If I could change one thing, it wouldn't be you. It would be teaching myself that love should never require pretending everything is okay. Today I don't replay the story, looking for someone to blame. Some truths arrive softly, without calling our names. I understand why I held on. I loved with all I knew, but loving someone deeply can't change what's true. Now I trust the quiet feeling I once pushed aside, because the heart often whispers long before goodbye. And though it still hurts sometimes, I'm grateful I can say I finally stopped running from what was always there. I ignored what was obvious, and that's the part I regret. Not loving you completely, but forgetting myself instead. I ignored what was obvious until the silence won. Now I carry the lesson long after you're gone. The truth was never difficult to find. It was only difficult to accept. I wasn't missing the past, I was missing the way we used to reach each other without even trying. We still talked every evening, still shared the same old space, but somewhere in the ordinary I couldn't find your face. Not the one the world remembered, not the smile everyone could see, the version that could read my silence before I had to speak. You used to know my heartbeat before I knew it changed. Now every conversation felt careful and arranged. I kept waiting for the comfort that always came so fast, but every moment with you felt further from our past. I wasn't asking for yesterday again, I just miss the feeling of being understood. I miss the old connection, the one that felt so real, where every little glance said more than words could ever tell. I miss the old connection, when your heart reached mine without hesitation. Every single time I miss the old connection more than I missed your touch, because love isn't only closeness, it's feeling close enough. I remember rainy evenings when we laughed until sunrise, finding little worlds together inside each other's eyes. Back then we never wondered if love was still alive. It lived inside the smallest things that made us feel alive. Now we're only keeping habits, the rituals remain, but routines can't replace the feelings that have changed. I searched inside your laughter for the warmth I always knew, but every echo brought me further away from you. The hardest thing to lose is something you can't hold, a quiet understanding that slowly grows old. I miss the old connection, the one that felt so real, where every little glance said more than words could ever tell. I miss the old connection, when your heart reached mine without hesitation. Every single time I miss the old connection more than I missed your touch, because love isn't only closeness, it's feeling close enough. Maybe we became too busy, maybe we forgot to stay inside the little moments that slowly slipped away. No broken promises between us, no over. I'd only ask to feel that connection once together. I miss the old connection. Even while you held my hand, I kept searching for the feeling only love could understand. I miss the old connection. And now I finally know some heartbreak doesn't happen when someone chooses to go. I miss the old connection. It quietly disappeared while we were still together, year after year. I wasn't missing the past, I was missing the way your heart always found mine before we forgot how.
I thought they were nothing, little moments that didn't matter. Now they're the only things I can't forget.
I remember how you'd smile just a little less than before, how our conversations ended a little quicker than before.
You still asked how I was doing, still stayed for a while, but something in your eyes stopped reaching mine.
I noticed every hesitation, every quieter goodbye, every time your attention started drifting by. I told myself it was temporary, just another passing phase, never thinking love could disappear this way. Nothing felt broken until I look back. I remember the small signs, the ones I tried to ignore, the tiny pieces of goodbye hidden inside before. I remember the small signs, now they all make sense. Love was quietly leaving without a single sentence.
If I had listened sooner, would we still be here?
Were those little moments already telling me everything? I remember waiting longer for your messages to come, pretending not to notice when they slowly became none.
I remember reaching for you while you looked somewhere else, feeling closer to your memory than to you yourself.
I kept believing tomorrow would bring the old days back, never seeing every promise quietly fade to black. Hope became my comfort, truth became my fear, so I stayed with yesterday while you disappeared.
Sometimes the heart knows first.
I remember the small signs, the silence between the words, the distance growing slowly without ever being heard. I remember the small signs, and they still remain, little pieces of a goodbye I couldn't explain.
Now every memory whispers, you already knew.
You just weren't ready to lose me too. I don't miss the ending, I miss the days before I started noticing everything changing.
Now I see those moments with kinder eyes than before. Not searching for someone to blame, not keeping score.
Some people leave slowly before they finally go. And sometimes love grows quiet long before we know.
If I could speak to that version of me, I'd tell him not to be afraid. The truth may break your heart, but denial makes it stay.
You can't hold someone close by refusing what is true. Loving's quietly sometimes, even when you don't want it to. I remember the small signs, every glance I couldn't read, every silent answer to everything I needed. I remember the small signs, and I carry them somehow. Not because I'm still holding on, but because I understand them now. The ending wasn't hidden, it was written in all the little things we stopped becoming.
Looking back, the smallest changes were the loudest goodbye.
I spent so long looking for a different answer. Now I finally see what was there all along. I used to blame the timing, the distance or the stress. Thought if we just held on longer, we could somehow fix the rest. I kept searching for a reason that would make it all make sense. Anything but facing what was right in front of me then. I called your silence patience, your absence just a phase. I convinced myself tomorrow would bring back yesterday. But hope can sometimes hide the truth behind the things we want, until reality is louder than the thoughts we haunt. The signs were always there, I just wasn't ready to see them. I see it clearly now, nothing was the same. We kept saying we're okay, while slowly changing shape. I see it clearly now, no more looking away. Love had already faded long before you walked away. And maybe the hardest truth isn't that we ended, it's that I knew before I admitted it. I remember every moment I tried to explain away, every conversation shorter, every promise left to fade. You weren't hiding anything, I just refused to look, because accepting the truth was harder than it looked. I stayed inside the memories where everything felt warm, while the present slowly became something unfamiliar and worn. I wasn't losing you suddenly, I was watching it unfold, trying to protect the future that had already grown cold. Sometimes denial feels safer until it doesn't. I see it clearly now, the picture finally fits. Love doesn't always leave with one dramatic twist. I see it clearly now, one quiet piece at a time, until there was no pretending. Everything was fine, and maybe that's why it hurts differently today, because truth leaves no place to hide. I don't hate what happened, I hate how long I spent trying to protect something that was already gone. Now I look back gently without rewriting the past. The good was truly beautiful, it just didn't last. And maybe that's the lesson I needed all along. Love can be real even when it's gone. So I'll stop asking questions that have no reply. Some endings don't need answers, only goodbye. I'll carry what was honest and leave what couldn't stay. Finally seeing the truth without looking away. I see it clearly now, and somehow I can't breathe, because acceptance finally gave me the strength to leave. I see it clearly now, no more chasing what is gone. The love I keep searching for won't be found, and moving on to the past. And after all this time, one truth remains: I didn't lose the story. I finally learned how to read it. The truth didn't arrive today. It had been waiting for me to finally open my eyes. Nothing happened overnight. There wasn't one big goodbye, just a quiet feeling that something wasn't there anymore. You still reach for my hand, but somehow it felt different. The warmth was still familiar, the closeness wasn't missing. We still sat across the table, still laughed at little things, but somewhere underneath it there was an invisible space between. I kept telling myself, maybe we were only tired, maybe love was just resting, waiting to be inspired. But every passing morning made it harder to explain why everything looked the same, but didn't feel the same. We never stopped talking, we never stopped trying, but somewhere between the words, something stopped surviving. It didn't feel the same, even when nothing had changed. Your smile still looked familiar, but it reached me in a different way. It didn't feel the same, no matter how close we stayed. We were standing side by side while slowly drifting away. It didn't feel the same, and neither of us knew how love could quietly disappear without breaking into two. We still shared the same room, still lived inside the same routine, but silence started growing in places love had been. The little things we treasured began to lose their light. Conversations turned to echoes, fading into every night. I searched inside your eyes for the person that I knew, but all I found were memories looking back at me through you. Maybe nothing really happened, maybe that's what hurts the most. Love can slowly leave a home without a closed door. No slammed doors, no tears to explain, just two hearts realizing they weren't beating the same. It didn't feel the same, even when nothing had changed. Your smile still looks familiar, but it reached me in a different way. It didn't feel the same, no matter how close we stayed. We were standing side by side while slowly drifting away. It didn't feel the same, and neither of us knew when love became a memory instead of something true. I don't blame you, and I don't blame myself. Some feelings fade so quietly, they don't ask for help. Maybe we held on long after they were gone, trying to recognize a love we'd already lost. It's strange how hearts can empty without making a sound, leaving two familiar strangers still standing on the same ground. It didn't feel the same, even though we stayed together. We couldn't find the feeling we thought would last forever. It didn't feel the same, no matter how hard we tried. Sometimes love doesn't end with goodbye, it simply changes inside. It didn't feel the same. Now I finally see the hardest kind of heartbreak is the one nobody can see. Nothing happened overnight. There wasn't one big goodbye, just a quiet moment when love stopped feeling like love. We were still together, at least that's what everyone believed. But somewhere inside, it felt completely separate. We still woke beneath one ceiling, still locked the same front door, still shared the little moments we'd shared 1,000 times before. You poured another cup for me, I thanked you with a smile. But kindness isn't closeness when love has gone a while. Your laughter filled the room, mine answered just the same. From the outside we looked perfect, nothing seemed to change. But underneath the surface, something slowly drifted free. You were living your life without reaching me. No one else could see it, no photograph could tell. Two hearts can share a home and still become separate worlds. It felt completely separate, even standing side by side, like your world had somewhere else and mine had nowhere left to hide. It felt completely separate, though we shared the same address. Love became a stranger, wearing our names instead. It felt completely separate. Long before goodbye, we stopped sharing one heart, one quiet day at a time. We still made tomorrow's plans, still talked about the week. But every dream we mentioned belonged to different things. You look toward your future, I look back at ours, trying to find the place where we lost who we are. I reached for your attention, you reached for your phone, and somehow that small moment told me everything I needed to know. It wasn't one decision or one careless mistake, just thousands of little distances we never tried to change. Love didn't leave suddenly, it slowly changed its shape until we couldn't recognize the life we'd made. It felt completely separate, even standing side by side, like your world had somewhere else and mine had nowhere left to we'd notice sooner, the silence growing deep. Before it built a home, neither of us could leave. It felt completely separate, though our shadows touched the floor. I couldn't find the feeling I'd always known before. It felt completely separate, and now I finally see the hardest kind of distance needs no miles to be. It felt completely separate, and that's the memory I keep. We were still together, but love had fallen asleep. We were still together, we still knew each other's names, but somewhere between the ordinary, it felt completely separate. We used to speak without thinking, like everything would always stay, like love was something permanent that couldn't drift away. But somewhere in the quiet moments between what we said and did, something started slipping gently into places we hid. The laughter didn't sound the same, the touch felt further than before, and every simple conversation became something we ignored. Not out of anger or conflict, just absence growing near, until we were still together, but not really here. The hardest loss is quiet, when nothing falls apart. We lost the feeling, not in one sudden break, but in every small moment we didn't stop to take. We lost the feeling and didn't know it then, till we were just remembering what used to be again. I still search for echoes in everything we do. We lost the feeling, and I lost you. And I lost you. I remember trying harder when things began to fade, holding on to versions of the love we used to make. But effort can't rebuild what silence lets decay. And every day we waited was another step away. You didn't leave me loudly, you just stopped leaning in, and I filled all the empty space with what we might have been. But memories can't replace a feeling that is gone, and pretending keeps you standing, but not holding on. Some endings don't announce themselves, they just stop feeling right. We lost the feeling, not in one sudden break, but in every small moment we didn't stop to take. We lost the feeling and didn't know it then, till we were just remembering what used to be again. And I still search for it. you don't notice its move. We kept pretending softly that nothing had changed. Oh, until the space between us was all that remained. We lost the feeling, and it hurts in a quiet way. No dramatic ending, just the fading of each day. We lost the feeling, and I still don't know when we stopped being us and started being them. Now every memory lingers like a song that won't undo. We lost the feeling, and I lost you. It didn't end when we said goodbye. It ended when it stopped feeling like us. We didn't lose everything, not all at once. We only lost the part that made us, us. We still knew each other's habits, still finished every thought, still remember the little stories time had never forgot. You still laughed at old movies, I still knew your favorite song. From the outside we looked perfect, like nothing had gone wrong. But somewhere in the ordinary, something quietly disappeared. A feeling we could never name, just slowly wasn't here. The room was full of memories, but somehow love was not. We kept everything we built, except the heart we lost. We held on to the pieces, but the picture wasn't clear. Somehow we stayed together while the reason disappeared. We lost what made it us, not the house, not the names, not the photographs we kept or the promises we made. We lost what made it us, something words can't explain, the little spark between our hearts that never came again. We lost what made it us, without a fight to blame. Everything looked familiar, but nothing felt the same. We still shared every morning, still fell asleep nearby, but silence started answering the questions in our eyes. The conversations lingered without anywhere to go, like two strangers reading lines they already know. I kept searching for the feeling hidden in your touch, trying to believe we hadn't changed that much. But love had grown so quiet, neither of us could hear when the space between our heartbeats became louder than being near. The hardest things to lose are the ones you cannot see, because you never notice until their memories. We lost what made it us, not the house, not the names, not the photographs we kept or the promises we made. We lost what made it us, something words can't explain, the little spark between our hearts that never came again. We lost what made it us, by someone walking away. Maybe it fades inside the ordinary days. Maybe we were protecting everything except our hearts, holding on to each other while drifting apart. I wish I knew the moment the feeling slipped away, because if I had found it, maybe I could have asked it to stay. Didn't lose each other first, we lost what made it us. We didn't lose everything, not all at once. Just one quiet feeling that carried both our hearts, until one day it didn't anymore. You thought I didn't notice, but I noticed everything. I just never said it. Your smile stayed a little shorter, your eyes wandered somewhere else. You answered all my questions, but never asked for yourself. The silence between our words started lasting far too long. Even when we sat together, something already felt gone. You still held every routine, like nothing had changed at all. But love isn't only actions, it's the feeling behind them all. I watched your heart grow quieter without making a sound, and every little difference was waiting to be found. You never said goodbye, your heart said it first. You didn't hide it well, the distance in your eyes, the way forever slowly turned into goodbyes. You didn't I saw it all, I just kept pretending there was still something left to save. You laughed when everyone else did, but not the way you used to. You looked at me politely instead of looking through. The warmth became familiar, like a picture losing color, still beautiful from far away, but fading from each other. I searched for reassurance inside every embrace, but comfort couldn't cover the truth upon your face. You weren't trying to deceive me, you simply couldn't pretend. Some feelings disappear long before they finally end. Hardest truth are the quiet ones. You didn't hide it well, the love that wasn't there. I felt it in the silence, floating through the air. You didn't hide I don't wish you had hidden it better. I only wish I believed what I already knew. Now I remember gently, without trying to rewrite us. Some stories end quietly, without becoming cruel. You gave all you could give, even when it wasn't enough. And I kept asking your heart for something it had already lost. Acceptance came slowly, like the setting sun. Not all at once, but little by little it was done. Today I carry the truth without looking away, because seeing clearly is how I finally let you fade. You didn't hide it well. The ending had already begun, long before the last goodbye, long before you were gone. You didn't hide it well. The signs were always there. I wasn't waiting for the truth. I was waiting for it to become something else. You never fooled me, hope did. Maybe you cared, maybe you did, but somewhere along the way I couldn't feel it anymore. I started telling smaller stories just to see if you'd ask why, hoping you noticed something hidden behind my smile. You nodded through my sentences like they were passing by, never hearing all the questions I buried deep inside. I wasn't asking for forever, or words too beautiful to say. I only wanted to matter the way I did yesterday. But every little silence made one thing appear. You were still beside me, just not really here. I kept waiting for your eyes to find the tears I hid, but they never stayed long enough to notice what they missed. You didn't seem to care the way you used to do. I was speaking from my heart, but never reaching you. You didn't seem to care, even when I fell apart. You held my hand, but not my heart. You didn't seem to care, or maybe I just couldn't see the love that slowly disappeared between you and me. We still made the morning coffee, still watched the evening sky, still shared the same four walls while something slowly died. You remembered every birthday, every promise, every plan, but forgot to notice who I had become. I smiled through the loneliness, pretending I was fine, because I didn't want to make your distance mine. Now one day I stopped reaching the way I always had, not because I stopped loving, but because I was tired. Sometimes hearts don't shatter, they simply lend a weight until waiting feels exactly like heartbreak. You didn't seem to care the way you used to do. I was speaking from my heart, but never reaching you. You didn't seem to care, even when I fell apart. You held my hand, but not my heart. You didn't seem to care. Maybe I just couldn't see the love that slowly disappeared between you and me. Maybe you were hurting too, in ways I never knew. Maybe silence became easier than telling me the truth. But love can't live forever inside unanswered pain. Said I got tired of wondering if you care. The hardest kind of loneliness is sharing someone's space while searching every day for yesterday. You didn't seem to care until I stopped trying, until my quiet tears stopped asking why. You didn't seem to care. Maybe you cared in ways I couldn't feel from you. Maybe you cared, maybe you still do. But love becomes so quiet when it can no longer be full. I kept searching for another meaning, another explanation. maybe you meant exactly what you showed me. I spent so long decoding every word you said, looking for a hidden feeling buried underneath instead. I thought there was a reason for every time you pulled away, a deeper explanation for every change. I gave your silence patience, I gave your distance time. I turned every unanswered question to another reason to try. But maybe I was making excuses for what was always true. Maybe I was finding meanings that were never there for you. I kept looking for a different answer, because the real one hurt too much. You meant it that way, and you held back your heart. You meant it that way when you kept us apart. I thought there was something I just couldn't understand, but you were showing me clearly exactly where you stand. And maybe the hardest part is finally knowing why. You weren't confused, you weren't lost. You meant it that way. I remember all the moments I tried to make them more, turning simple conversations into something worth fighting for. You never asked for forever, you never promised you'd stay, but I kept building a future from the things you didn't say. I blame myself for the distance, thought I wasn't enough, never realizing your heart was simply not what mine was. And I don't know what's harder, the truth or the time I spent trying to change a feeling that was never meant. Sometimes the answer isn't hidden, it's just painful to accept. You meant it that way. Every step you took back, every piece of yourself you kept intact. You meant it that way, and I finally see you weren't trying to hurt me. You were just being honest with me, and maybe that's the part I needed to learn. Not every love story is meant to return. I don't blame you for giving what you had. I only blame myself for asking your heart to become something it wasn't. Now I look at the memories without changing what they were. Some moments were beautiful, even if they weren't forever. I can appreciate the kindness without confusing it for love. I can miss what we had without asking for more, because the truth has a strange way of bringing peace with time. When you stop fighting reality and stop rewriting the signs, you were never trying to promise me a world you couldn't give. You were just showing me the way you choose to live. You meant it that way, and I accept people don't break your heart, they simply show you where their heart isn't. I kept looking for another meaning until I realized the meaning was always there. I thought I understood love. Looking back, you were telling me the truth from the beginning. I just heard what I wanted to hear. You never promised forever, you never made big plans. You kept one foot outside while I reached for both your hands. You loved me in small moments, but never all the way. The signs were always there, I just chose not to see them that way. You kept your heart protected while I opened all of mine. I mistook your hesitation for needing a little more time. I thought patience would change us, that someday you would stay, never knowing you had shown me who you were from the first day. You weren't hiding the truth, I was hiding from it. You showed me early, I just looked away, thinking love would somehow make everything okay. You showed me early with every careful line, but I can't believe in one day you'd be mine. Now I understand, the truth was never late, I just wasn't ready to accept it. I remember every moment you held a part of you back, every conversation ending just before it got too deep. You were kind without surrender, close without fully staying, and I kept filling empty spaces with dreams I kept creating. I called you distance caution, your silence something small, never realizing those moments were answering it all. Love wasn't changing you, no matter how I tried. You were showing me your limits, I only saw your light. Sometimes love isn't blind, hope is. You showed me early, before my heart could see everything you couldn't be, for someone like me. You showed me early, but I believed instead the story I imagined inside my head. Now every memory feels different somehow, because I finally know what I couldn't then. I don't blame you for being honest in your own way. I only wish I had listened sooner. Now I don't replay the ending looking for who's at fault. Some people give exactly as much as they have to offer. You never pretended to be someone you weren't inside. I was the one hoping love could change the tide. And though it still hurts sometimes, I carry something true. The hardest lessons And after all this time, I don't question why anymore. You told me the truth without ever saying the words. You showed me everything, I just called it hope instead of goodbye. I kept waiting for you to change, but maybe you never did. Maybe I was the one who kept expecting more. You were always careful with every word you said, never making promises you couldn't keep. Instead, you gave only what you had, nothing more, nothing less. While I kept believing there was something left, I waited for a different version to finally appear, someone who would love me the way I needed here. But every passing season only proved one thing: you never became distant, you stayed the same all along. I wasn't waiting for you, I was waiting for an idea of you. You stayed the same, it was my hope that changed. I kept drawing forever where there was empty space. You stayed the same, and now I understand. You never broke your promise, you never made one to begin with. Maybe the hardest truth is knowing you were honest in ways I refuse to see. You never hid your boundaries or pretended to feel more. You simply stood where you always stood, while I kept asking for more. I mistook your quiet kindness for love that only needed time, believing patience would somehow make your heart match mine. Looking back, I see it now, without anger or blame. You weren't becoming someone else, you stayed exactly the same. The only thing that changed was what I finally knew. The future I imagined never belonged to you. Sometimes disappointment isn't about being deceived, it's about believing what was never there. You stayed the same while I kept holding on, trying to save a story already moving on. You stayed the same, and that's why it hurts less now. The truth was always simple, I just know it now. I don't resent you for being who you were. I only wish I had stopped asking you to become someone you weren't. Now when I remember us, I don't rewrite the past. The good was still beautiful, even if it couldn't last. Some people come into your life to teach you what love isn't. Not through cruelty, but through quiet difference. And maybe that's enough to finally after you fade away. You stayed the same, and I finally stopped pretending that love alone could change how our story was ending. You stayed the same, and I can see it clearly now. I wasn't waiting for you, I was waiting for a future that never existed. You didn't become someone else, you were always yourself. I just loved the possibility instead. I don't remember the exact day, only that one morning I realized you stopped looking at me the way you used to. You still sat across the table, still reached for your morning cup. The sunlight touched your face while mine stayed unnoticed. You asked me how I was doing, I answered like before, but your eyes wandered somewhere else before I finished more. I kept changing little things, hoping you might see a different dress, a different smile, a different version of me. But nothing seemed to catch the attention I once knew. It wasn't that you looked away, you just looked through. I started missing the way your eyes used to find mine without trying. You stopped looking at me like I was home, like I was still the place where your heart belonged. You stopped looking at me even when I stood nearby. Your eyes still found the room, but they passed me by. You stopped looking at me before you ever let me go, and somehow that hurt the most. We still walk the same sidewalks, still share the same old space, but I became another picture hanging in the same place. I wondered if I changed, or if love simply grew tired of somewhere in the ordinary. The spark quietly expired. I caught myself pretending not to notice anymore, smiling through the silence like we had before. But every passing evening made one thing painfully true. You weren't searching for me anymore. Love isn't always measured by the words we say. Sometimes it's hidden in where our eyes stay. You stopped looking at me like I was home, like I was still the place where your heart belonged. You stopped looking at me even when I stood nearby. Your eyes still found the room, but they love can disappear without making a sound. It slowly loses wonder in what it always found. And by the time I understood what your silence meant, I was already mourning something that hadn't left yet. You stopped looking at me long before goodbye, before the distance had a reason why. You stopped looking at me, and I finally could see love wasn't ending loudly, it was forgetting me. You stopped looking at me, and now whenever I close my eyes, I still remember the last time you truly saw me. I don't remember the exact day, only that one morning I realized you stopped looking at me. And after that, nothing ever felt the same. I kept waiting for you to become someone different, but maybe you never changed. I used to blame the timing, the distance and the years. Thought life had made you colder, thought you disappeared. I searched for what happened, for where we went wrong, looking for the moment where you stopped holding on. But the more I look back now, the more I finally see the things that hurt me later were always part of you and me. You didn't suddenly leave me, you were never fully there. I just noticed all the pieces I ignored because I cared. I was waiting for a change that was never coming. You were always like that, I just loved you differently. I saw the possibility instead of reality. You were always like that, and I don't hate you for it. I only wish I understood before I got lost in it. Because the hardest truth wasn't that you changed, it was realizing you never did. You always kept a distance when things got too deep, always held a little back while I gave everything. You were warm when it was easy, but gone when I needed more. I kept knocking on a heart that never opened the door. I thought time would teach you how to let somebody in, thought love would be the reason you would finally begin. But people don't transform just because we want them to. Sometimes they show us exactly who they always were to you. I wasn't waiting for your return, I was waiting for your arrival. You were always like that, the signs were always clear. I just translated every silence into something I wanted to hear. You were always like that, and I kept making excuses wasn't losing someone new, I was accepting who you always were. I don't wish you were different, I just wish I had seen you clearly. Because loving someone shouldn't mean waiting for them to become someone else. Now I remember everything without changing the past. The good moments were real, even if they couldn't last. You gave what you were able, I asked for what you couldn't give. And somewhere between those two things was the way we learned to live. So I won't call you careless, I won't call you cruel. You were simply being yourself, and I was loving the wrong version of you. The lesson wasn't losing you, the lesson was finally seeing that I deserved a love that didn't need imagining. You were always like that, and now I understand. I was holding on to a future you never had in your hands. You were always like that, and I can finally let go. Not because I stopped caring, but because I finally know the person I was waiting for was never coming back, because they never existed. You didn't change, I just stopped looking away.